The West Mesa serial killer. All APD's chief will say is that detectives have a handful of suspects, and the chief is sure that the killer is not still on the loose. But sources have always told us that there is a prime suspect, and we know who he is. And we also know police have saved a lot of evidence against him after he was killed, just in case. Here's News 13's Alex Tomlin.
It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, and that's what we're willing to do.
Aisles of cardboard boxes, plastic bins, and evidence tags. This is where detectives may find the answer that's eluded them for more than 3 years now. Who is the West Mesa serial killer?
It's about trying to find anything that will link our killer to our girls.
And from anybody.
And from anybody.
The killer dumped 11 women out on the West Mesa. All were stripped naked, possibly strangled with no DNA evidence. All the women had ties to drugs and prostitution. All went missing between 2000 and 2006. But now it's about the killer's ties to other crimes.
Not only when suspects come up where there's evidence stored here, but also cold cases from the past that are unsolved. Taking out that new evidence and reprocessing it is going to lead to some new leads on our case.
Detective Ida Lopez and her partner, Sally Dyer, spend every day investigating the city's deadliest serial killer.
Could it be in here? We don't know, but that's what we do every day.
APD will only say there are a handful of suspects, but we know one of the names, Lorenzo Montoya, whose death seems to mark the end of the West Mesa murders. Montoya has a box here too. It's the box containing evidence from his own murder. In December of 2006, Montoya found a prostitute in a newspaper escort ad. She went to his house. Her pimp, Frederick Williams, came to get her when he didn't hear from her. He found Montoya carrying out the woman's naked body to his car. He shot and killed Montoya on the spot. At the time, both the police chief and the sheriff said Montoya fit the profile of a serial killer. Even though Williams wasn't charged and Montoya was dead, APD is required to keep evidence from a murder scene, and it's a good thing they did. 26 months later, a dog discovered the West Mesa serial killer's burial ground. Immediately, Lorenzo Montoya's name came up.
His photo was shown on the media a lot. I know his address is close to the site.
Close as in a little more than a mile away. Since then, detectives have pored over the 89 items taken from Montoya's home, including videotapes and pictures, to see if any of the West Mesa victims were in them. We've been told the women weren't. Then there was his background. Montoya had multiple arrests for picking up prostitutes, and in 1999, he almost killed one. Vice cops caught Montoya with a condom on, raping and strangling a streetwalker in his pickup truck after picking her up near Central and San Mateo. She told police Montoya looked like he was enjoying trying to kill her. So we know he wore a condom during his crimes. He strangled a woman and stripped her naked and was getting ready to dispose of her body. Sounds like he could be the West Mesa serial killer, right? But APD says there are others
that have come to our office that have done what some of the stuff Lorenzo's done, or even worse. And so, or there's those that we don't even know about that we'd like to hear about, but I think people have just automatically assumed that Lorenzo is the person.
Detectives say they're not assuming anything and have examined or retested evidence from many more people who have been involved in previous crimes. They wouldn't say how many people.
There's a lot of really interesting people that we've investigated thoroughly, and he is just not the only one.
They're not just looking for a link to 118th Street. Keep in mind, there are other women that went missing during that time period that still haven't been found. Detectives hope one of these boxes may link them to one of those women as well, or may lead them to another mass grave.
If there's a second site, that's what we're always open to, and we keep searching for that. Those girls that are still missing, they're not closed cases, so we still actively investigate the missing girls, and that's why it's important to receive tips.
Those tips and these boxes, do you think it'll be solved in this room?
I mean, it's hard to say.
May just solve this case, but it may not be soon.
We're not going to do sloppy work, and we're not going to be rushed.
So for now, Lopez and Dyer will keep opening boxes in their hunt for the killer. Alex Tomlin, KRQE News 13.
From the evidence sheet, it does not appear that police saved the carpets or shovels from Lorenzo Montoya's home, if he had any, that could be used now to see if there was any forensic evidence linking him to the victims or the burial ground.